right, Sydney, you start.
Hello everyone, I am Sydney Joseph. It is an honor to be here with all of you tonight. Professionally, I am a co-founder of my family office called Big Plan Holdings. It is based out of Nashville, Tennessee. I split time between Chicago and Nashville. I fortunately have been a part of the cannabis space since I graduated college through the efforts of my family office. As I participate in my role as a co-founder of Big Plan Holdings, my day-to-day primarily is made up of new business development and investor relations for our company. So I see a tremendous amount of deal flow in the cannabis space. Every deal that comes across our desk in the cannabis space, I get to put my eyes on right as it enters our pipeline. So all that to say, I see deals plant touching and non-plant touching. I see deals from men founders and female founders. I see deals across the country and some deals internationally as well. It's a really big and incredible opportunity to be able to see all of those at such a young age. I have the chance to vet deals and source deals as well, do a lot of due diligence on the deals that come our way. But then in addition, we fundraise for projects ourselves, concepts that we own and operate, or we put together SPVs and small investor groups or large investor groups to go out.
SPV?
Yeah,
Special,
thank you.
Sorry, special
okay.
purpose vehicle.
That's okay.
Sorry.
Some women in here may not know that.
Sorry, yes, I apologize. So we put together investor groups that can go ahead and deploy capital into concepts themselves. So, I also help to facilitate the curation of investor materials, so decks, investment memorandums, data rooms, and things like that we allow our investors to see. We try to make it really digestible and easy to understand for people who are really well experienced in the cannabis industry, all the way to newcomers as well, because everybody has a place, and we want to create a safe space and a safe opportunity for people to deploy their capital and trust the cannabis industry through our expertise and all that we see. So I'm very fortunate to be able to sit up here with all of you and share what I have learned as a 24-year-old girl in the cannabis space in my 3 short years out of college. And it's an honor to be here, and anything that I can answer or do to help is a blessing. So thank you so much.
What do you see more in the decks of women and in the proposals of women than you do with men?
So I would say, honestly, I don't see the biggest differences in the decks as I do the conversations when I discuss the decks, the pitches, whatever the first or second round calls are, where someone is pitching a deal to me and walking me through, everything that they want to, concept-wise, financial-wise, whatever it may be. And I honestly think one of the biggest takeaways that I have is a lot of times women are not dialed in on the FAQs. Like when there should be, 5 to 10 questions that people, men, women, whomever, have in their brain preemptively prior to pitching a project that are very likely that an investor is going to ask, and that person or company needs to have a rock solid answer to those questions. And I feel, and this comes down to your point about financial jargon some of the time, legal jargon some of the time, that women may be less well versed on those. And so a lot of times you get answers like, and I'm guilty of this too, like, oh, let me get back to you on that, or let me check with my CFO, let me check with my CIO, and let me get back to you on that. And as soon as you do that, because as you had mentioned, women have to work harder in the space to garner the support, the validation, the funding, then you show a sign of weakness because you don't know those answers. So I would always recommend, and it's something that I'm still learning, my boyfriend is in private equity, and he will sometimes put me on the spot and ask me questions about deals that we're doing, and he'll say, this is my job. I basically grill people when things come across our desk on like these questions and kind of the answers we're looking for. And he's kind of put that into perspective to me, that it's like there are questions that people are going to ask, and if you don't know the answers, people are going to lose trust and lose faith in you. And so I think that is something that's really critical that I've come across. And then majority of the time, if not all of the time, venture capitalist funds or venture capital funds look for the founder and the company who want 100% unequivocal success. Like they are diehard 24/7, 365 days a year. You are betting on that founder, you are betting on that company. And there could be a level of inherent trepidation, if you will, that females may, or women may not have that same drive because they might not want to miss the birthday party of their child, or hop on the plane to travel and be away from their family for a week, maybe as much as men would be willing to do so, for better, for worse, true or false. And I think one thing that women can do to propel, beyond that and show that they are worthy of investing in is showing why they have that 24/7, 365 drive. And I think that that's something that's like a telltale sign that you're not betting on the company, but you're betting on the person, male or female. And I think that that would do a lot of good for the women in the space who are trying to raise money, because that could be something that's lacking, that I think a lot of VC funds truly bet on and gauge a lot of their investments based off of.
What a great answer. What is the number one mistake, the absolute coldest water you can throw on these ladies right now that you see?
Douse us.
Yes.
Okay, so I would say, the biggest mistake that I come in contact with a lot, and I say this over and over again, is a lot of times people who are pitching their companies and pitching their concepts don't know their investors that they're pitching to. So I think, doing your homework and doing your, read up on who you are talking to ahead of time is critical. A pitch for me is not the same as a pitch for you. And I think that, or anybody else in this room, and I think knowing who you are talking to is imperative to the success of your pitch, whether it is knowing the verticals in which your family office that you're pitching to, your institutional group, your individual, whomever it is, plays in. If they're playing in cannabis, great. If they're not playing in cannabis, pitching them on cannabis is a complete waste of your time if they're not interested. And also knowing their investment thesis and investment criteria. If you're pitching them on a debt deal and they solely do equity deals, also a waste of your time. And so I think that making yourself aware of the groups in which you're pitching is critical, because, so many pitches that I sit in on is so robotic and monotonous. The group is just basically flipping through the deck and telling me everything I've already read and nothing new, and half the time it's completely irrelevant to me or my group or my family office and what we're looking for. And so I think just really knowing your audience and tailoring your pitch to that group is really critical, and will most likely lead to a much higher return on your investment of your time. And also, you might gain not necessarily a capital infusion or investment from that, but people are more likely to open doors for you, share industry knowledge, maybe you'll get an advisor out of it, something like that, if it really is tailored to who you're talking to and what they are looking for. So I would say that's probably the biggest.
I love that. Again, understanding.
Yes.
Excellent, thank you, Heidi.
Dig into the pain points.
That's right.
Okay, so two-pronged. I would say, the first thing that I have realized and learned firsthand is to enter rooms that you're uncomfortable in, that you don't know anybody in, that you are afraid to be in, you might feel intimidated by, whatever it may be, and network and meet as many people as you can possibly meet, whether you go in alone or you go in with a team, because, that's the best way to meet like-minded people, and like-minded people support like-minded people. And so, that's something that I have found to be incredibly impactful in my professional career, and that kind of segues into my second point, which I can't take credit for, but has been the best piece of advice that I have learned in the past, I can't even tell you how many years, but I was just actually at the Midwest Women's Cannabis Summit in Chicago that was put on by Green Street Report, and they had a couple speakers there, one of which, Christy Hefner, was incredible, and she shared her biggest tidbit and takeaway from her time, just in business. And she said, start building your personal board of directors as soon as you possibly can. And I thought that was the most impactful piece of advice I've ever heard, because, and that kind of intertwines with my first point, which is entering rooms that are uncomfortable, because you will slowly and meticulously start building that personal board of directors. So then when you are in a state where you're going to go out and seek capital or fundraise or launch a new concept or product, you have that board of directors who is in your corner, who you know who to call for branding and marketing. You have your point person for that. Same goes for finance, same goes for legal, whatever it may be. And you just have your own personal board. And those are your sounding board, those are your people, and they will be your brutal, honest, all the stuff you're doing right and all the stuff you're doing wrong, people. And I think that that's critical. And so I, after hearing that, have slowly started to build my board and in my brain, and I think it's incredible. So I would say, you know, as women, it's definitely something that I would encourage everyone to do, because your board is something that people can't take away from you because you built that on your own. So.
Awesome. So such great advice. Let's start with you.
I personally think M&A is incredible. As you mentioned, I think it's the fastest path to liquidity, and I think, you know, like anything else in the world, you're always told if you love something, you should be able to let it go and let it fly. And I think that some of the greatest ways to make things grow and see them reach their highest points of success are when they're out of your control and you're able to, you know, have somebody else who can grow it and scale it even faster and better than you can. And obviously, you know, that does come with a level of sadness. You've built something so great and so incredible, and you want to hold on to that as long as you can. But like you mentioned, I mean, I think it's a blessing to get to a point where somebody would want to acquire you, or to be in a place where buying another company is feasible for you to expand your business model. And so I think M&A is a level of success that most people dream of and very few can make it to. And if you can get there, you should capitalize on it.